Hello, everyone. Welcome to back to the podcast, and today's going to be a bit of a different episode because it's Halloween, and it's going to be a really fun kind of episode where me and Scott and Jesper we're all here. Just we thought we would talk about scary episodes in Doctor Who, and it's going to be pretty cool because we're gonna from each series, we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna say why we thought these are our scary episodes, and then we might have same thoughts, we may have different thoughts, but that's what makes it going to be really fun. Um, so what we're gonna do is for each series, I'm gonna say each of the episodes, and then we're all gonna pick one each that is scary to us, and it's gonna be really fun. But before we even do that, I'm gonna get you guys to introduce yourselves. I'll start with you, Scott, as you've been on it a few times, and you know what you're doing. Um, and Jesper knows what she's doing as well. But just so you can make Jesper a bit more comfortable, because as it's her first podcast today. So, Scott, say a little bit about yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm Scott Stevens. I'm grateful to be back on this as I actually love talking about Doctor Who.
Also, and Jesper.
Hello, everyone. As Mason said, this is my first podcast. My name is Jesper, and I'm excited to be talking about Doctor Who as it's something I've loved since I was a little kid.
Awesome. So this is going to be, I would say a mini episode, but it could be longer. It could be. I only say that because when we start talking about it, sometimes we don't stop. But we'll see. We'll see how long it goes on for. So guys, I'm going to read out series one, not of the last series because they could just call that series one, but of the series in 2005, um, which is the Ninth Doctor. So I'm going to read them. Um, don't say anything, and I'll call your name, and then you can say why. So we'll take it in turns each time. So we're all not going to go in a certain order. It's going to be like we're in a TARDIS.
Awesome.
All right. So
Thank
Mm.
series one. So we got Rose, which is the first episode. The End of the World, The Unquiet Dead, Aliens of London, and World War Three. Which, if you choose that one, that will count as one, because it's the same story. Dalek, The Long Game, Father's Day, The Empty Child, and The Doctor Dances. That's the same thing. If you pick them, that will be one. Boomtown, Bad Wolf, Part of the Ways. That's the same thing. Um, and the Christmas Invasion for some reason is in series one. I'm still to this day confused why it is, but um, um, if you want to pick that one, you can if you think it's scary, because Christmas episodes can be scary sometimes. So um, we'll start with Scott, you first, because let's see what you've picked.
Yeah, I think there's some good options. But for me, the one that always stuck with me ever since I was a kid is the Empty Child and the Doctor Dancers. The idea of just a simple touch and that's it, game over. You're now infected, and it's slowly rewriting you and forcing its way up your throat. The visual of Dr. Constantine being overtaken has stuck with me.
Yeah, that is it's scary, isn't it?
Mm,
When they change their face into the mummy mask.
yeah.
Yeah, I was scared when I actually watched that when I was little. That's a good choice. Jesper, what about you?
For me, it's Rose purely because I have a massive fear of mannequins. I hate them. If I'm walking past them in a shopping center, I will have to like step away to the side because for some reason, just something like that, and then something gonna like grab me. It really just sends shivers down my spine. I just no, it's not for me, that one.
Yeah, I know what you mean because it's pretty creepy that they can move. And
Mm,
ever since I watched it, I was scared to look at the mannequins out like shop windows because I was like, oh look, they're gonna move now.
Mm.
Um,
mm,
but yeah, and the scene where that big, I can't remember. I don't even know what it's called. That creature. It was like the heart of the mannequins in the episode where he's eating the
Oh,
people when the doctor finds them.
the lifting consciousness.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty scary. So
mm,
yeah. Um. So for me, there are a few actually that are pretty scary in this series.
Mm. Yeah.
Um. It's hard. But I'm gonna pick. I will pick the Unquiet Dead actually,
Okay.
because when I first watched it, I don't really like the episode, but um, I didn't like it was quite scary. Um, I thought yours was scary as well. I did the Slovene episode's actually pretty scary in the sense that that's the first time we saw the Slovene and you saw what they
mm,
could do.
I've always wondered what they do with the insides of the human bodies.
mm. I think I found with the Slovenes, the thing that really scared me about those is them like unzipping the human skin off them.
Yeah.
Like that's just
Yeah, but that's
ugh,
what I wonder is like,
ugh.
how would I would, like, obviously I wouldn't want to see it, but I am curious about that process. Like,
Mm.
do they eat it or just discard it, disintegrate it? Is it they're like a machine that they
Hang it up,
use?
little
Yeah.
clothing hanger.
Well, they do that in the episode.
Yeah.
They actually do hang up a skin suit when they're not using it. So it makes me wonder, like, do they have like a machine that does it for them, or do they themselves have to empty it?
Ugh, I never really thought of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's interesting, isn't it? So that's series one. Keep those in our minds. Well, you don't have to keep them in your minds. I've written them down. But keep them in your minds towards the end, because one of these might be the most scariest episode you've ever seen, but it might not. But we'll see. So series two, um, yeah. So let's go to series two. So New Earth, um, Tooth and Claw, School Reunion, The Girl in the Fireplace, Rise of the Cybermen, The Age of Steel, The Idiot's Lantern, The Impossible Planet, The Phantom Pit, Love and Monsters, Army of Ghosts, Doomsday, and The Runaway Bride. So there are some scary ones in there.
Hmm.
Mm.
Um, Jesper, what do you think?
I would say out of those ones, I'm gonna go with Tooth and Claw, but it scared me in a good way. Like from the beginning of the episode to like the werewolf, like the human version of the werewolf in the cage, and just how scary looking he already looks, it got me more invested. And then seeing his werewolf sort of thing, how well they designed the werewolf.
Best design.
Yeah, it was scarily good to me, but it does like bring you to the edge of your seat in a good way. But I think that is probably the most scariest one to me.
I love the transformation, like hearing the bones
Yeah,
cracking and
yeah,
reshaping. I think
It's
that
good.
is one of the scariest parts of the episode.
definitely.
Yeah, it is. It's a very scary one, especially with the wolf. Like you say, the clicking of the bones, and I quite like that one. It's an underrated
Mm,
episode, I think, though.
Mm.
mm,
In that series.
definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah. Scott, are you picking a different one, or do you think that as well?
I would pick a different one, um, but I am struggling on which one because I do think there's some good choices in this. Like, for example, um, for a similar reason to my Series 1 pick, I do think that New Earth is another one because, again, single touch, every disease in the universe instantly being forced to live. And that to me is truly horrifying. It would literally be like The Walking Dead. But then again, same kind of thing for Love and Monsters, as much as I really am not a fan of the episode. The idea of just being touched and then being forced to be somewhere random on this creature's body and have absolutely no willpower to move or do anything anymore. Like it would be a horrible existence. And again, same kind of thing with um, any of the Cybermen episodes, because being turned into a Cyberman would be a horrific and grotesque transformation.
Mm.
But I think I would have to go with the girl in the fireplace for being dissected and specific parts of you needing to be used to recreate or fix the ship's operating system.
Mm.
And I just think it's truly horrific that they would slaughter you for an eyeball.
Mm.
Yeah, that is a scary episode. Get on the
I,
fireplace.
I love that episode of just how it's written. But I do agree with you, like especially when Rose says to Mickey, it's like, oh, it smells like someone's cooking, and then they realize it's actually
Barbecue.
people's bodies literally being melted into this machinery just to try and
Seeing the heart all wired
yeah.
up and pumping away.
But I do find it funny when the eyeballs does zoom in on Mickey and he's like, "Are you looking at me?"
Yeah, but that's what I love about that episode is like on first watch or first glance, I wouldn't consider any episode from series two particularly scary. But if you were to put yourself in the situation or in the episode and think about actually being there,
Mm.
it's so different if you give it any deeper thought. I think very much the same kind of thing with a lot of the episodes, though. Like even the sort of jokey ones, like the Slitheen, you don't really think, oh, this is something that's going to be absolutely terrifying, that's going to haunt you. But
Mm.
if you give it a bit deeper thought about how they actually operate, it's pretty gruesome.
Mm.
Yeah.
Especially with um when Rose and Mickey got taken by the Clockwork Men, and obviously they're strapped on the tables because they were going to be dissected. And then obviously the doctor makes it all funny by coming in and singing.
I wonder what parts they would have used.
Don't know.
Not Mickey's brain.
Yeah, that was funny. Um, so what do I think? Um, you know, the girl in the fireplace was scary. I was petrified that when I was little. It's one of my favorites as well. Like with under the bed was I couldn't look under it. I had to keep looking under the bed because of the bed scene in there.
Mm.
That was scary to me. What you said about New Earth, I agree with. But for me, I wouldn't say this. It's scary, but not. It would be down the bottom for me.
Mm.
Love and Monsters, yeah, you could say with them all going on to do your doorbell off, and that's a bit creepy. But um, I'm gonna say the Idiot's Lantern,
Oh, okay.
um,
Yeah, I didn't actually even think about that, to be honest.
Mm.
because I thought it was quite scary when your face is gone.
Yeah.
Um, and looking at the telly, yeah, I, I
Again, like situations, episodes like that, it makes me wonder how much control the person still actually has over the body. Because obviously, you see on the TVs that they are still talking and conscious. And for example, Rose is screaming for the doctor, but her body isn't actually like gesturing or moving. So I, I genuinely do wonder
Mm.
how much of the body is like still active.
It's like when they're all. Oh,
Sorry about the noise if you can hear it. Someone setting off fireworks.
Okay.
it made me jump, to be honest. Yeah, anyway, what I was saying, agreeing with like the idiot's lantern, like when they capture the faceless people and they put them in like this cage to keep them hidden. Again, it's like they're like mannequins, like in the back of a shop or something, because they're just so like,
It's the facelessness.
yeah,
The
and
fact they have features but not enough.
the lack of movement as well.
Well, again, that's what makes me wonder, because in that scene when it's first like revealed, you see that they are like moving their hands. So they clearly have some kind of a motor function still.
And the grandmother, she was banging about
Yeah.
upstairs.
And obviously her family said, I think she's hungry. So I wonder how long the bodies survive before they actually still need sustenance like water or food.
Mm.
Yeah. It's very similar, isn't it? Like you could say Rose and the Idiot's Lantern in certain ways. It's interesting. Um, so series three, quite like series three.
Solid series.
Yeah. So for scary episodes, so we've got Smith and Jones, The Shakespeare Code, Gridlock, Daleks in Manhattan, The Evolution of the Daleks, The Lazarus Experiment, 42, Human Nature and the Family of Blood, Blink, Utopia, The Sound of Drums, The Last of the Time Lords, and Voyage of the Damned. So, shall I go first on this one?
Go for it.
Go for it.
Um, I think I don't think Smith and Jones is that scary.
No, I'd agree with you on that one. I think I've made my choice.
Mm.
Yeah. The Shakespeare Code, you could say, is a little bit scary maybe, but it's not one I would choose. Um, Gridlock, not that scary. Dark and Manhattan, you could say it's the same vibe we said with the Cybermen earlier. Whatever Daleks are in, it could be scary. But at this point, I was more scared of Dalek Sec, actually, in that one. But I'm not going to say it. I was scared when I was a kid of Dalek Sec, but I'm not gonna say that one. Um, Evolution of the Daleks, the same thing. Lazarus Experiment, maybe a little bit. Um, I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go for 42. Actually, I'm gonna go for 42, and I'm going for 42 because it's quite a supernatural feel to the episode. I think from something chasing them and saying "burn with me." It was pretty scary.
Mm.
So I'm gonna. Oh yeah, I say 42.
Especially some of the deaths that happened, like taking crew members one by one. Like, I completely agree with you there. Like, I wouldn't say it's the scariest one for me,
Hmm.
but I do agree with you on some aspects, especially with the whatever's come over, like the entity. I don't actually know what it is.
It's the sun because they harvest its heart
Yeah.
because they use a solar scoop, I think it is. They use a scoop for fuel, basically.
Yeah, I think the most scariest about that episode is definitely how they take each crew member
Yeah.
down.
See, I'd say that the scariest thing about that episode for me is purely the fact that the Doctor becomes one of them. He gets overtaken
Yeah.
to show purely that you got to act quickly or you will all be taken one by one. Because I do feel that any episode that takes away the Doctor themselves in any shape or form, whether it's although it's not a great episode, Kill the Moon when he leaves or 42 when he's overtaken at the end, but it does up the stakes because no matter what, whenever the doctor's around, you can always sort of sum it up and go, it's okay. They've still got the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when they don't have the doctor, it's a bit like, we've got to sort this out ourselves now, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
For me, I would say that the scariest episode of season 3, and again, I wouldn't say it's particularly a scary episode as much as a scary scene, and it would be Daleks in Manhattan and Evolution of the Daleks. The scene of Dalek Sec taking over Mr. Diagras, I think it is. I think that's his name. That scene, again, same as the Nanogenes, has just stuck with me. Again, the idea of being that person and sort of being trapped in a sack that you just can't do anything as your body slowly is rewritten, I truly do think is a horrifying thought.
See, I've got 2 episodes that I know which one I'm going to pick at the end, but I'll say the one that's like just underneath. But the Shakespeare, I can't remember what it's called.
The Shakespeare Codes.
Yeah. When I actually watched that in school, because my primary school teacher, she was a massive fan of Doctor Who. That's how I ended up becoming a fan of Doctor Who in the first place. And we were doing Shakespeare plays, and so she played that one. And I think just the transformation from going to this really pretty young woman and then all of a sudden this like really creepy old woman, it just really freaks me out, especially like the voodoo dolls. Like, it's just all of a sudden you can just stab this doll and then you just drop dead. Like, that just freaks me out. And then the main one of this series that I find really scary is the Lazarus experiment. Purely because of the thing he becomes at the end. Like, it's like the skin stretching at the mouth and just all that sort of thing. It really, really like freaks me out, and I'm like, no, I don't like this.
Unpopular opinion, I actually like the Lazarus experiment. I actually think it's as bad an episode as people make it out. The CGI, no, it doesn't look great, and it's going to look dated because it came out in, what was it, 2007 now? But I actually like the idea of the episode, and I would defend it.
Yeah. So that's the one you most scariest for you is the Lazarus experiment.
Yeah. It was a difficult choice, but that is the one I would go for the most.
Yeah, it is scary actually. I like it as well. And if I were to pick, it's hard to pick on this series, like because it's a good one. But the one I like majority of the episodes in it, but I'd like the Shakespeare Code as well. But that would the Shakespeare Code probably would be. I know we're going to do this next time, but one of the least of my favorite episodes that I like in the series, the Shakespeare Code. But it is, like you say, it is quite scary as well. But the Lazarus experiment is scary, but the how Lazarus did transform. Yeah, so right. Yeah, the Lazarus experiment.
And he's done like the roll up.
Yeah.
The Lazarus experiment. Yeah, I went to the Lazarus experiment location actually a few years ago. And
You have to go to some locations.
yeah, and you know where when the doctor's playing the piano.
Yeah, I think I actually saw the video of you when you did that. I would, this actually is a church you can go and see. You know, the one right at the end of the episode. You can actually go there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I would love to go to like a Girl in the Fireplace location. That would be such a dream for me.
Yeah.
It,
it's good. It's actually in the same place as Tooth and Claw.
That's so cool. Two of my favorite episodes in one. That's
yeah.
Well, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a Matt Smith episode there as well. Hyde, I think. Okay.
Yes, I love Hyde. Des is
No,
not a okay.
we don't want to ruin up to that
Yeah,
series.
Sorry, guys. Build up.
yeah. We'll come to it, but but yeah, that's just enough. There's so many episodes at the place where Down the Fireplace was filmed.
Mm.
I just love the fact that they can go back to the same place and bit of different lighting, different
Yeah,
angle,
they
and it
get
looks
away
like a
with.
completely different place.
Yeah, they get
Yeah,
away with it. It's awesome.
yeah. And when I go there, because I go in costume and that, you get people come up to you saying, "What you doing there? You filming Doctor Who?" Um, it's
I
funny.
would, I would, I would love to get like a Victorian dress and just go there.
I'd
Like,
love to get a
Yeah,
full tent outfit
yeah.
and go there.
yeah, yeah. Because it's weird because I went, the shop that the toy maker used on 60th anniversary.
Yes.
Mm.
Um, well, that's a cafe, and I was trying to do a little scene from the trailer. And people with the umbrella bit, he only did it for a few seconds in the actual episode, but people stare at it and they're like, they don't say anything. Um, but it's funny. It's funny when you go to certain locations because people come up to you. Um, at that point, the 14th Doctor Sonic didn't come out, and I was going around the part where the toy maker was dancing. That part, and you got someone saying he was more interested in my sonic screwdriver I was using than my costume. Um, so it was pretty funny. That was so. Yeah. So series 4, because I could do a whole episode about Doctor Who locations.
Mm.
Um, right. Just checking over it. Everything for our third one. Yep.
Are we
So
including the specials in with series 4?
um, I think we could. Wait, hang on, let's do 2 for series 4.
All right.
We'll do it from Partners in Crime to Journey's End, and then we'll do the specials if there's any of them that you
Perfect.
scary. Right. So we've got Partners in Crime, The Fires of Pompeii, Planet the Ood, the Sontaran Stratagem, and The Poison Sky. That was one. The Doctor's Daughter, The Unicorn and the Wasp, Science in the Library, and Forest of the Dead. That was one. Midnight, Turn Left, The Stolen Earth, and Journey's End. So, Jesper, what do you think?
My top scariest one is definitely Midnight. Um, just not knowing what's out there that's causing this, and then obviously it then possesses Sky is the name, isn't it?
Sky Sylvester,
Yeah. And then obviously it goes to the doctor and they're gonna try and chuck him out again. Like you said earlier, once you've lost the doctor, it's like it suddenly does like kick in and just be like, oh, that's not good. But I think it's mainly the unknown that scares me because we don't know what it is. Still to this day, I have no idea what it is.
I heard a rumor once that the scene where the driver at the front, when he's going, "Oh look, there it is, there it is." Apparently, if you pause it in time, you can actually see something. I have tried my absolute hardest, and I cannot see anything. And I'm so grateful. I am so grateful that you can't see anything because if they had snuck something in, it would have ruined the
Yeah,
mystery.
because then it's just now you know it's like, oh, it doesn't look as bad anymore. It's more like, again, so many people have the fear of the unknown. I know I do. And it's just it's just the most scariest in my opinion. But I also think Planet of the Ood is very, very scary. But Midnight is still my top. But the reason Planet of the Ood is one of the second ones for me, yeah, is because of when the I don't know his name. Obviously, the Ood's giving him this drink, and it's making him turn into the Ood,
Yeah.
and just seeing him peeling his skin off, and then like the tentacle things coming out of his mouth. It's just, I just
Uh,
know.
yeah.
But
Um,
Midnight is definitely the scariest one for me.
yeah, that was that put the freak me out when that happened in Planet View. But Midnight, yeah, it's one that because it's such a good series.
Mm.
There's so many good episodes. But Midnight is just at that when you probably for first watch it, you probably think it's not going to be a great episode because it's on plane the whole time. But yeah, it is good because they're very good acting in it because it must be really hard to do what they done for the amount of time they done it in.
Mm.
Because you copying and it's actually really cool. It's actually really cool.
Mm.
Um, yeah, well, that's given me an idea for later, but I won't talk about that now. And yeah, so Scott, are you going to say that as well, or are you opting for a different one?
Um, I would have to completely agree with you. The fear of the unknown for Midnight is definitely what gives it its edge, as well as obviously losing the Doctor towards the end, and the fact that you never get any answers, even when they get back to the Pleasure Palace, and Donna asks, "What do you think it was?" And I'm pretty sure he just says, "I think we beat it, and that's what matters." The idea that even he knows that he got lucky and that he did not win, but he had to sacrifice, or he not him specifically, but someone had to be sacrificed purely to fend off and not defeat, because there's no guarantee that that thing actually did pass away. My other thing that I always wondered about it though is because I've seen many theories about it, is that is it one entity or is it multiple? Because I saw a theory a while ago that was rather than taking over individual hosts and draining them, it sort of is like a parasite and it infects and then moves on. That's why Sky was still acting or overacting the way that the sort of entity was, but the Doctor was still repeating in the way that it's sort of attached to him without letting go of Sky. And the idea of something being able to spread like that again terrifies me. But I also am terrified of Planet Viewed purely for that final scene of him peeling the skin off and all the tendrils. The idea of body like changing and the DNA being rewritten, that to me fills me with an uncomfortable feeling. I would have to go with Midnight as my scariest one as well, and I am rambling, but I would also give an honorable mention to Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead.
Yeah.
The shadows that melt the flesh is a horrifying concept, and I think the reason that it does so well and is such a good episode, it's so well written and River Song, but also the fact that it's such a simple concept and it's something that's so easily recreatable. So anytime you are in a room where there's two light sources and you see two shadows, if you're a Whovian or you've watched the episode, it might just flash in your mind. You might pay no mention or pay no thought to it, but it's always with you.
Yeah.
But I would
I
have to agree, Midnight is my top.
yeah, Midnight is brilliant. Your Planet of the Ages as well. Forest of the Dead, Planet of the Ood. No, that is not together, is it? Forest of the Dead and Science of the Library. That is really good. Um, that's probably one of my favorite episodes of the series, actually. That one.
Mm.
Because I love it. Not just because I've been to a location. I don't just like episodes because of that, but I liked it. It's so scary. It's different to when most episodes. That one. But I'm not gonna pick Forest of the Dead. I'm not gonna pick that one for me. I'm actually gonna pick I'm gonna pick Midnight as well.
Hey, we all agree.
Yay.
I'm gonna pick Midnight as well because yeah, it's just strange, isn't it? And a bit scary.
Mm.
A very
Unnerving, almost.
underrated
Oh no,
episode.
I wouldn't say it's underrated.
See, I think it is because I've had so many people say I don't like Midnight, and I think it's quite underrated.
I
It,
think it's impressive for the fact that it is a single location, a small cast, and in all fairness, not a lot happens, but the fear that it generates and the savagery in humanity, I think that it's more of a character study of humanity, and I think that's what works so well for it. The other theory I thought, stumbled over my own words. The other theory I saw was that the entity it feeds off of negativity. So in some ways, it's like a Horcrux, and in that way, it made all of the people act out worse than they actually would have. And the
yeah,
fear generated in the savagery is what it fed off of. That's why it kept banging on the doors to it heighten the fear.
Mm.
yeah, yeah. I think it's an interesting one because it's confusing at times when you watch Midnight sometimes, because you wonder Mrs. Silvestri as when she's moving and she's standing up and she sounds her normal self. You question, is that her? That doesn't sound, and then you go into it and it doesn't sound like her. Like it changes. It's really interesting how it changes and how when she goes, the doctors can move. Um, but when we say underrated, I think what we mean because there's so many good episodes in this series.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
um, and to say if we go through them, like Science in the Library, For Us the Dead, Still on Earth, Journey's End, they're up there. There's so many good ones in it that I wouldn't say there's one completely bad one in series four because it's probably one of the best series that there's been. Um, although every series is good,
Mm.
yeah.
but
Honestly, in series four, I would say the only episode that I don't enjoy as much as the rest. I still like it and I can still put it on, but for me, the only sort of dud in series four is Turn Left. And I know that's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'm just not a massive fan of it. It moves the plot along, but it feels more like just sort of retreading the good stuff we've already seen.
Mm.
yeah. Do you agree with that, Jesper? Tanler?
Um, I think it's more of a filler episode, to be honest. Like, I feel like they just wanted to start bringing Rose back and be like, Rose is here now. Hello. But again, people are probably gonna be like, no, that's not true. But I just think they're trying to push Rose back on.
Everyone's
Um,
entitled to their own opinion. Yeah.
but there is one thing that does actually scare me about Turn Left is the beetle being stuck on Donna's back and like how everyone's looking at her and she's like, stop looking at me, stop looking at me. There's nothing there. Because I have a fear of some insects and like if I had like a massive spider on my back and I couldn't see it, I would freak out. So
I'm gonna get you to watch Planet of Spiders one day.
no, you're really, really not.
Oh, it's from like the
I,
maybe 70s,
yeah, no thanks. Spiders
late
are a
60s.
no-go.
There
Great.
is a film.
The giant rubber spiders is brilliant.
There's a film I saw on Amazon Prime once, and I think about this house gets infested with spiders. Um,
Oh,
I
and
never
they make
watched it.
phobia.
Yeah, I've. I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind them, but when they're really big, it's a bit scary.
I don't mind insects as long as they just do their
Oh.
own thing and stay over there.
Yeah, yeah. But with Town Left, I didn't really understand why the beetle was on her back, and I still don't to this day. Like, what was the concept of having that beetle there?
I think it's more that I don't know, like after it's done its job, there's not really any reason for it to continue to be on her back. Well, it both is and it isn't. It's sort of
Mm.
in both yes and no. That's
Yeah,
why it's not always there, but someone always thinks it's there. So I like that concept. I've always been a fan of like, you know, something's wrong, even if you can't, like, all your other senses are telling you it's fine, but you know something's not right, something is wrong. I love the idea of that, but I just love the fact that the Trickster's mentioned and is part of the Trickster's Brigade, and I'm really hoping the Trickster comes back into the main show at some point, because
Yeah.
you should watch the Sarah Jane Adventures, at least the episode of the Trickster, because he's such a good villain.
Yeah.
Such a good villain.
Yeah. And I agree with what you said about Turn Left. It's not one of my favourites either. So next time we could talk about that more to wind people up. Um, because that's funny. And I don't really like Turn Left either. And yeah, so what we're going to do at the end, because I think it'd be fun, we're going to quickly go through each series again, and then we're going to pick close to our original answer, because I think sometimes we're stuck with two to pick one overall one, and then what I think is good if then we could put when it when I release it will go out, and then I'll put close contenders from each of the series, and then like for example we could put don't know Planet of the Ood as a close contender, or I feel it could be a few of them. It could be a few of them. Like we've just said, Science in the Library and Planet of the Dead. Just so when it goes out, people will know we ain't just said that one. There's others as well. Um, right. So series five, series five. So we've got 11th Hour, The Beast Below, Victory of the Daleks, Time of the Angels, Flesh and Stone, The Vampires of Venice, Amy's Choice, Hungry Earth and Cold Blood, Vincent and the Doctor, The Lodger, The Pandora Opens, The Big Bang. Um, Actually, ignore everything I just said because I forgot we're going to do the specials first.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I
um,
forgot about it as well.
I was more invested to try and think of which one I was
Yeah,
found more scary, because after
there's
you
not really a lot in series
no,
five. Like,
no.
there's not a lot. But
No,
I think I've got my option though. I think I've got my choice.
I know I've got mine, but at the same time, whatever.
All right, we're
will
jumping so ahead of ourselves anyway.
yeah,
Let's do the specials first, then we'll get to series five.
will we all pick the same again? Um, okay. So the specials for series four are The Next Doctor, Planet of the Dead, Walls of Mars, The End of Time Part One, and End of Time Part Two. Um, so I'll go first. I will just say Wars of Mars. Does anyone else have any options other than the Wars of Mars?
No.
No, it's pretty very much clear that is the only scary episode of those options.
But it's scarily good.
It's such a good episode,
It
but
really, really is.
again, same kind of concept as like one drop. Doesn't matter if you wipe it off, you get rid of it, it's too late.
Yeah.
And the fact that if you get infected, you might not even know for hours, weeks, months, because the water just might not take control. And the design of like the cracked lips, the pale eyes, the constant flowing of water, it's such a beautiful design for the monster. Again, quite simplistic in just that it's just a human that's severely constantly drowning.
Yeah,
Especially well, like at the beginning, with the woman with the dreadlocks and the other guy. I can't remember their names. But obviously, I think the woman, she's talking, and then all of a sudden in the background, you can just see him like changing,
Yeah,
can't you?
he's twitching in the background.
And it's
Andy
really,
Stone and Margaret. That's something I
yeah.
could be getting that wrong. I know it's
Like,
Andy Stone. I can't remember her name.
yeah,
I think that's really, really scary, because she has no idea what is going on behind her, and she's just rambling on about whatever she was, because I can't remember what she was talking about. And then all of a sudden, like, she changes. And another thing with this episode that's actually quite scary is obviously the doctor's like, oh, I've saved day, I'm happy, I've saved everyone, and I brought them back. And then obviously the older woman, she's like, no, this isn't right. Like if it was supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen. And then obviously she goes in her house.
Straight away. Like I really feel bad that I can't remember her name, but when she gets infected at the beginning by Andy,
Mm.
and they get there and they get her back to the med bay, she gets locked down and she's acting completely normal and human, and she's just let me out. I'm fine. Look at me, I'm fine. And then 5 minutes later, she's not fine.
And she's like, she's all of a sudden twitching herself and like,
I love the backstory that's given as well when it's not really solidly given because the doctor kind of just gives it as like a possibility of what might have happened. But the fact that the Ice Warriors had to use all of their might just to imprison this parasite, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
I love small details like that that sort of hint at the past but don't give it away. So again, your imagination can run wild. But I love the design. I think it's brilliant. It works so well. It's so effective at getting across like the human body being infected.
is that when the doctor was on his own?
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if he had a companion or not.
No, all of the specials, he has like a makeshift companion
Mm.
because he's just lost Donna in series 4, and then for
Yeah.
the next Doctor, it's
Yeah.
Jackson, Lake, and then obviously after that, it's um, Planet of the Dead, one you like, Lady Christina D'Souza.
I also find that one actually quite scary, Planet of the Dead. I'm I had my reason and now it's gone. I think it's just like when the guy tried to walk straight back through, and then obviously he's just then a skeleton. I think that's what really freaked me out before. But after rewatching it, it's not one of the scariest one. That specific part just is quite scary to me. But Water of Mars, Water
Waters
on
of
Mars.
Mars.
Yeah,
If you want to be spirits about it, but
that's the most scariest one out of the specials.
Yeah.
I'd argue it's up there, if not just the specials.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Remember watching it, and it's scary, isn't it? Just watching all that water come out of them. And yeah, it's really good. Gadget as well.
Do you like it?
Me too.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I met him at the Doctor Who experience years ago.
What are you looking?
Well, you didn't get to shake his hand. He was like in a display.
Oh yeah. I think it was at the Worlds of Wonder one as well.
Oh yeah,
He was in a unit or something.
yeah, it might have been that.
Yeah. It's funny because when I went to the Waters of Mars location, where the dome is, it's funny because I lost my mum, and because in the dome, if you shout something, it echoes around the whole dome,
Oh,
and I didn't have my phone because she got it. She was filming me, so I ain't got my phone, and she's like, Mason, and then I can hear her, but I don't know where she is because it echoes around the whole dome, and I'm on this bridge. And I was just like, where'd you go? And I said I'm running a lap round the dome like they did in the episode.
Yeah,
I,
honestly, if I went to any of the locations, I think I would just blare music and just run around. Good area.
just have like the doctor's
Yes,
theme
I am the
song.
Doctor, just running around.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's so
I was, at
cool.
that point, I was in my 10th Doctor clothes, and it was so hot in there.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and yeah, then I did go to Adelaide Brooks's home of the episode.
Mm.
Um, because sometimes when I go to locations, I do a letter to a place maybe I want to go, and I can't go in. Like if it's a home of a location, I'll ask, and they might not answer. Sometimes they don't. Um, and they answered. I said, "All I need is your door. That's all I need." I did go in and say hello. But
Give me
just
a door.
Your door in 5 minutes, I promise.
yeah, I just need your door open. Maybe pretending I'm going in, and it's funny. And then they gave me they gave me something. Welsh Welsh cakes. Welsh cakes they gave me. Um,
It must be so cool to live in that like a house they used in Doctor Who. Like
Well, it depends if you're a Whovian or not.
yeah,
If you're a Whovian, yeah. But if you're just a
yeah,
normal person who doesn't watch this, not a fan, you just kind of normal house.
yeah.
I wonder how many times they get someone knocking on the door going, "Do you know where you live?"
I would
it's really cool.
yeah, I would love to see like Amy and Rory's house. I'd be like,
I don't want to go there. Mason's been there.
I'm so
Yeah,
jealous. You've gone to so many places. It's so cool.
I would be disappointed though if we do go there one day and like the door is different or it's colored painted different. Something's different. I go up there and go, "Why'd you change it?"
yeah. Like yeah, the Amy and Rory one is a good one.
Mm.
Um, that's from the God Complex. That one.
Oh, I love that episode.
Yeah, yeah, and it's from Cardiff Bay. It's just a walk up the road.
I
Um,
still, I've been to Cardiff a few times, and I never knew it was there because every time I went there, I had never watched Torchwood because I was like a lot younger then. But I never knew Yanto's Shrine was there. I'm glad I didn't know because it would have spoiled Torchwood. But also the diner for series 6 and for series 9, end of series 9, Clara's TARDIS, like the diner TARDIS.
yeah,
Apparently that was, oh Jesus, apparently that closed down.
yeah, I did.
I never got to go. I was really, really upset because as soon as I found out it was in Cardiff, I was like, going there, gonna go there, gonna do the scene. I hope everything's exactly as it is. And then I looked it up, found out it was closed down. And
That's so
Yeah,
disappointing.
I didn't
I
get to
think,
go either. I didn't get to go either.
oh, that would have been
Yeah.
so good to be able to go
I've
there.
never been to Cardiff.
Good, love Cardiff. I've stood
Yeah.
in Cardiff Bay. I've stood at the doors of Torchwood.
Yeah, I've been to Wales, but I didn't go to Cardiff.
Yeah.
Been to Cardiff at some point.
My grandparents and my auntie and uncle live in Wales somewhere, and I've been there once.
Yeah. It's. I mean, when I went to Wales recently this year, I it wasn't the plan to go to Cardiff. That wasn't the original plan, but I ended up there somehow. Um, and I had a cocktail on the bay on the bay. But yeah, because I went to a few of the locations of the recent series has gone. Um, it's quite funny. I haven't shared them yet. I'm like that. Some of the locations I share, I haven't done them for a year. I just like to keep them. If I'm not going to any of them, I just like to share some that I done a year ago.
Mm.
The
Um,
only time I've been to Cardiff is because I was going to Doctor Who Experience. I think I've been twice. I only remember it about once because I was really young when I went the first time.
I've never been to a Doctor Who thing ever.
Oh, I pray. I truly, I'm not a religious man, but I do pray that one day we get something similar to the Doctor Who experience back because it's just so nice to be able to go to somewhere that is specifically dedicated to Doctor Who.
Mm. I
yeah,
mean, I really want to go to the Who shop. Like,
I will take you there when I can.
I would love to.
It is good there. That's where I got my key from. Funny enough, this is both from the Doctor Who
The
experience and the Who shop because obviously after the experience closed down, the
Mm.
Who shop bought all of these. So this was the last one in their store. And I was So grateful I managed to get it.
Yeah,
My official companion key.
that's pretty good. I haven't
Yes.
been either. I haven't been to the Who shop either.
Well, maybe we'll meet you there one day. Right,
Maybe.
we've really got off subject.
Yes.
Yeah,
We kind of
Right.
rambled quite a bit there.
Well, we're on a roll. We've twice in a row now. We've all said the same. Will we make it free?
Probably
Um,
not.
um, we don't have to make it free. Um, but it'd be funny if we did. So I'll say all Series 5 again, even though most of them aren't scary. Um, so we got The 11th Hour, The Beast Below, Victory of the Daleks, Time with the Angels, Flesh and Stone, Vampires in Venice, Amy's Choice, Hungry Earth, Cold Blood, Vincent and the Doctor, The Lodger, Pandora Opens, The Big Bang, A Christmas Carol. Um, okay, okay. Does anyone have one?
I do. And I would go of those options because, like I said before, there isn't one there that is particularly scary, but I am a big fan of psychological things, so I would have to go with Amy's Choice. The idea of being trapped between two worlds with a certainty of death if you don't do something about it, and not knowing which one's real, and then in the end, neither of them being real. I love that. And the fact that throughout the episode, it's constantly reinforced that it feels real. It constantly, even when they're switching, they constantly go, oh, yeah, it's this one. No, it's this one. I can feel it. It's different. And the doctor even pointing out,
Oh,
This happens every time. Um, I'm back.
do you want me to go grab your phone charger?
yes, please.
I'm just gonna go grab the phone charger very quickly.
Okay.
I grabbed one when I told you.
Yeah, I probably should have, but I didn't.
What's your phone on, Scott?
It's currently on 19%, so it's all good. It's just like to make sure that it doesn't cut out halfway through a conversation or anything.
Okay.
So how much of that was recorded?
It got what you were saying about the Amy's Choice. It's just maybe the end part.
Oh, okay. Is Luna okay?
Yeah, she's in her cat tree.
Good.
She's quite happy.
You want me to? Yeah.
And it's okay. It's just
It's difficult, I know.
yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, did we get what you said or did it stop?
I think I got most of what I was saying.
Not tell if Mason's frozen again or if he's still there.
I think he might have frozen again, to be honest.
Oh no.
No, he's
Just because I'm not moving. No, I think we got it all.
Okay. Um, right. What was I gonna say? I think the scariest episode, again, it's not really scary, it's more of not knowing again. I'm gonna go with Vincent and the Doctor,
Okay.
purely because you can't see this creature and only Vincent can. And so you're trying to go off what he's telling you, and obviously him drawing this creature, but obviously if you're not trying to fight it because obviously it was scared in the first place, but obviously trying to help it and not being able to see it and then it attacking you. It's like I don't know what you want me to do, sort of thing. But um, I don't think it's very scary, but when I first watched it, I think it was quite scary because again, I watched the Vincent and the Doctor in school because of my old primary school teacher. Um, but I also do think the angels are quite scary, again, in a scary good way. I remember when I first started watching Doctor Who, my stepmom kept saying to me, "You can't watch the angel ones because they're really scary." And I watched it one day and I was like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So I think the angels have been very overly hyped for their scariness.
Yeah, they're not actually that bad if you think about it.
No.
Considering they have the choice to either break your neck or horribly disfigure you or send you back in time to peacefully live out your life. Like, yeah, you're not going to be when you want to be, but
Yeah.
at least you don't die straight away. You still get another choice. And for some people, that might actually be a blessing in disguise.
It's like that woman from Blink. It was a blessing for her because she met the love of her life and spent the rest of her life with him. But I think what ruined the Angels part two is that we saw them move. We should never be able to see an angel move.
Again, same with the angels. Like with the angels, with a lot of things. As much as I would love to see, for example, the Vashnarada or the Midnight Entity come back, the more you know about them, the less intimidating they are. The reason the angels were scary is because you didn't know anything about it. The Doctor wasn't there because he'd been beaten already, he'd been caught off guard, so he wasn't able to give you any information. And even then, he was like describing them in how he'd been told of them, not in his personal experiences, because no one knows how they operate. And then, yes, seeing them move takes away the whole, they don't move, they're a statue when you see them. But I get that no character was able to observe them. But I do 100% agree. I don't think we should have ever seen the angels move. I don't, again, similar thing with like in you haven't actually seen this yet. In Flux, I don't like the idea of the angels having a voice in any sense of it. Even in the Matt Smith two-parter, Flesh and Stone, um, I I kind of understood it more with like they stripped his consciousness from his body and reanimated it in a way to communicate. But like for example in Flux, when the angels are just sort of mimicking 13's voice and throwing it back at her and just having a conversation with her, I feel that diminishes them very much from being these all-powerful entities to just another race in the universe.
That's why I said Vincent and the Doctor is the most scariest one to me. But again, with this series, it's not really any scary ones.
No.
So not being able to see this creature does scare me a little bit again because I watched it as a kid. So being a kid and not seeing this monster, and then obviously Matt or 11, sorry, when he's like cleaning the mirror and like him just slightly turning it and then seeing the creature through the mirror for the first time, that made me jump when I was little because I'm like, oh, I did not expect that. And then obviously being chased by something you can't see is more scarier than the rest of the series because again, you don't know where it's going. It could be right in front of you and you don't know, sort of thing. So I think that's the reason why that's the most scariest. But it's such an amazing episode. It makes me cry every time.
I think it's such a beautiful metaphor for depression, though.
Yes.
It's so well done. It's not over the top, and it's not like talked down to. It's a real issue that's spoken about and addressed in a very Doctor Who way, which I think is truly brilliant. And yes, the ending is just superb.
I would love to go to the gallery.
Oh, I would do too. Sadly, it wasn't actually shot in the gallery.
No, you've already told me this.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I had or not.
It's
I'd love to do the bit he does on the stairs.
I love it so much. I love Vincent van Gogh's artwork. I'm a big fan of his work. My favorite piece is definitely like Starry Night. Well, I've got it on a jumper. I love it. So I think it's just a very good episode.
I can't remember his name, but the actor that actually plays Vincent, Fez is off to him because he does an absolutely fantastic job, like portraying the character in such a way that's believable, and he does an amazing
I was
job.
gonna say he does a phenomenal job. Like the breakdown he does in
the
Big
switch
Bang.
in, not even just then, but like when
But
he starts
yeah.
having to go to the doctor.
Yeah, but especially in the Big Bang, him just like screaming and
Oh yeah, he really goes for it.
yeah, he does so well. Yeah, we're rambling again. We really are. Jinx.
Shall I call this episode The Ramblers?
We really should. Oh.
Thank you.
So, Scott, you don't know Angel Bob, what's going on?
It's not that I don't like him, it's just that I don't know. I like
Angel.
mystery. I like it when you don't get all the answer. I think this is where it's difficult though, because as we'll probably get to if we ever talk about season one, I think there's a very fine line between having a good mystery and just having no answers, like the writer having no answers. Because again, unpopular opinion probably, I do not like 73 yards. And I feel that does the mystery element wrong because it doesn't make any sense, even if you were to think about it. Because if you was to take Midnight, you can just go, yeah, it's an entity from another world, but with 73 yards, it's blatantly obvious that at the end it's Ruby. So how does she have all these powers? What is she saying or doing to make these people? It's just like I say, fine line, and I think Midnight does it well, and 73 yards does it badly.
Jumping.
I know, I do that.
Jumping like full on now.
But I can't help it. I don't live linearly.
Right. So, yeah, I get what everyone's saying. Like, for me, the Weeping Angel episode, the first part is better than the second part. And actually, looking back, the first part could be a bit more, if you're watching it for the first time, could be a bit more scary than Blink in some aspects.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, Blink is a phenomenal episode and it deserves all its praise and all its ratings, but I wouldn't call it scary.
No.
And I feel like that's where a lot of people get. They mix it up between being just a good episode and being a scary episode because it's a brilliant episode. It's phenomenal. I could put that on at any point, no matter what, and I'll enjoy it. But I wouldn't call it a particularly scary episode because even throughout that entire episode, no one dies. They just live differently.
Yeah.
I love the timey-wimey nature of meeting the Doctor at the end before.
Yeah, and like pre-warning.
Yeah.
I'm giving him the
time. And he can tell that everything plays out. I think that is so beautifully. That's the little bow that ties it all into a nice circle to the point you could literally put it on and watch it from Sally's perspective and then put it on again and watch it from Doctor's perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not scary. It might be a really good episode, but it's not scary. And that's what we're here for today.
I think with Mason's most scariest episode, with the
Dangerous Fashion Stone. Yeah. I love hearing the neck snapping sound though. It's crisp.
Literally.
Yeah.
But the most scariest thing about those episodes is with Amy.
Yeah, with Amy, yeah.
Yeah, with like how she pokes her eye and like dust comes out. I know it's more psychological for her because it's not actually happening. It's the angels messing with her.
I mean, that's brilliant. But
yes, the psychological part with Amy does freak me out. Like especially when she's like, I can't move, my hand's stone. And the doctor's going, no, it's not. You're fine. And she's like, no, go without me. all that. The psychological part is the most scariest bit, especially when she then has to close her eyes and literally walk to the other side of this. Is it ship? Yeah, just that part. Those parts are probably the most scariest for me.
I love the line at the end of that as well. James just goes, "I'm bruised everywhere." Oh, you didn't have to have your eyes closed.
Yeah. So I'll go with. I've just written down mine. Although there are maybe one other that I put down there just because it's Halloween. Which would be Vampire in Venice. It's not a scary episode, but I've just put it down because it's Halloween. Why not? But we'll do that at the end. So yeah, so we ruined it. Why did we ruin it? We all didn't. We all said different things, but it's
We'll
fine.
try and get the next one.
What are we
So,
on now? 6.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's starting to catch up where I'm not answers.
Yeah, I don't think I'm actually going to give the same answer as you though, because I know what your answer is.
Series 6.
so
Yeah.
series 6. I already know what mine is before I've even read it out. But so we got the Impossible Astronaut and the Day of the Moon. Curse of the Black Spot. The Doctor's Wife. Rebel Flesh to Almost People. A Good Man Goes to War. Let's Kill Hitler. Night Terrors. The Girl Who Waited. God Complex. Closing Time. The Wedding of River Song and The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. Um, so, um, I'll go first. For me, I'm gonna pick the Rebel Flesh, the Almost People, because I think there's not many in this really that I think scary. Um, yeah, so I picked that because I was just freaked out when I watched it. It was actually, and you could link in the Good Man Goes to War a little bit because it kind of links into that. But yeah, I just was freaked out about how good they look, or like the flesh, especially especially that scene. I think it was the girl called Jenny, um, where she's running down the corridor as like a transformed ganger and just
Oh,
chasing her.
the
Like,
extended limbs.
yeah, she's like the devil, won't she? Um,
Jennifer Lucas.
but yeah, that for me that is the scariest. Um,
I
yeah,
yeah, I completely agree with you. That is what I was gonna say for the scariest episode. I can never, to be honest, I might sound like a wuss, but I can never bring myself to watch those again.
yeah,
Especially like the part you said, like I don't like the color of them. I mean, seeing the makeup, because I've seen the behind the scenes of them doing the makeup, it is very, very cool and very
Prosthetics is
yeah,
so impressive.
but seeing it and then obviously all with the CGI and all that sort of stuff, it's just, I don't think I could ever bring myself to watch it again. I mean, I might do, but as well, when Rory is out in the outside the castle and you can just see Jenny like chasing him, and like you can see the little gap and see, can't remember, but I know there's a scene where he's looking.
Oh yeah, he hides behind the barrels
yeah,
and she comes out and she's like all
yeah.
flesh.
I don't know. It really, really does freak me out. But it's also very sweet at the same time. I can't remember his name. I think he's the Irish one.
Oh, the son.
Yeah, and obviously the original human, he passes away, and then he tells the ganger to go and be his dad. I think that's really sweet, that part, but apart from that bit, everything else really scares me.
Yeah, I think it's Jimmy. I was first thinking, honestly, of going with the God Complex, purely because obviously it is a house of horrors, literally designed that way. But I will agree and go with the Rebel Flesh and the Almost People, not for the way that they look, although the prosthetics is truly remarkable. and watching them go through the hours process to put it all on. I'm not sure I could sit still long enough. I'm struggling to sit still here. But I think the scariest part of that episode is the identity crisis of it. Like having literally poured yourself into another thing and now denying it sort of recognition as you.
Mm.
It's such a brilliant concept again, and I think it's done very well. Such a sweet ending. I always get upset about the fact that the original dies. Obviously, I wouldn't want either of them to die,
No.
but the fact that he can see that he is enough of him to be the dad who's there, like the scene of him, the realization when they talk about what would happen after they get off the island and they go home. And I think the human Jimmy starts talking about getting home for Adam's birthday. And then the ganger Jimmy says, well, what about me? I'm his dad too. And he says, oh, you remember when he was born then? And he starts to explain the story of like having a cup of tea. I think that is so sweet and it's so surreal because the shock on his face is priceless.
Yeah. I think another thing that's just come to me that freaks me out about this episode.
The unhinged jaw.
Well, yeah, when you
That gets
yeah, when
the pile of
that's
bodies
what
and
I was
faces.
going to say.
Yeah.
I was like, because it's all like in one corner. It's like, oh,
It makes me wonder though, like how many gangers can be made at one time?
Yeah.
Because obviously it gets to the point after the storm activates them that Jennifer Lucas, the original one, she is running around for a bit before she ends up getting killed. And there is also her ganger. But there's also the pile of Jennifer bodies. So does she specifically always go back to that spot when she's decomposed?
Oh.
Oh, we rambled on so much that it got bored of us.
It was like, I'm not doing this, I'm not recording this.
Oh, no, I just got to call the episode it.
Ramble.
What were you saying? No, no, I'm not going to ask that because we'll be here another 10 minutes, won't we? Talking about the same
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, we all agree that the rebel flesh and human nature, not the human nature,
For most people.
the almost people is scary. So that's good that we all picked the same.
Mm.
Because I don't think there's many other scary ones in this series.
I don't know. Moffat didn't really do scary ones in the early stages. But I would say that he started to get into the more scary or horror sort of aspects in series 7, 8, 9, and in
Yeah.
10.
So for series 7, are we splitting them in half or do we go for one meets all?
I'm happy with whatever.
I say we go with it as a whole, purely because I don't know about you guys. I wouldn't say there's a particularly scary episode in 7A. Like my answer is gonna come from 7B.
Okay. I'm just looking through them. Yeah, I don't think there is at the start either. Okay. And this will include the Day of the Doctor, if any of you think it's scary. But, and the name of the Doctor. But I read them through anyway. So we got Asylum of the Daleks, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, A Town Called Mercy, Power of Three, Angels Take Manhattan, The Snowmen, The Bells of St. John, The Rings Arc of Ten, Cold War Hyde, Journey of the Centre of the TARDIS, The Crimson Horror, Night in Silver, The Name of the Doctor, The Night of the Doctor, the day of the Doctor and the time of the Doctor. Um, so, Scott, as you, I think you've already made your mind up. What is your scary one?
Well, I thought I'd made my mind up, but then I've sort of given it a bit more thought. And I would probably, of those options, I probably would actually go with Asylum of the Daleks purely for again, the body horror of the nano cloud rewriting you into a Dalek puppet, even if
Mm.
you just step foot into the atmosphere. And then obviously, again, the body horror of Oswin being mutated and turned into a Dalek. Again, I saw a fan story thing of a Dalek so insane that it creates other Daleks from what goes on, and it tries to create abominations, and that's why it turned a human into a Dalek, because obviously normally that would be sacrilege and disgraceful. But I think, yeah, I would probably go with Asylum for the disfigurement
Okay,
of that.
that makes sense. I understand. It can be a little bit scary, especially when I go into the cloud. Um, and the whole concept knowing that Clara is a Dalek.
Mm.
So yeah, I get that. Just what about you?
Um, there's a few, I think. After you reading it out, my brain's going a bit like, wow, that was so many titles that I had to process. But Hyde is definitely my number one.
See,
Um,
I was going to go for that, but because of the ending, I just
yeah, I mean, I remember watching it, like starting watching it when I was home alone, and I was like, oh, this really, really freaks me out. I don't like it. I'm turning it off. Never went back to it again until I started dating this one. He was like, you've got to sit through it all. And I was like,
I said you got to watch the ending.
so I was like, I'll give it a go. Um,
Can't start it and not finish it. You got to
yeah,
know what's going on. And I said to them, I was like, honestly, if you get through the ending, it's not scary anymore.
which it wasn't, but the build up to it really freaked me out. Like I used to love doing like ghost hunts and everything a couple of years ago. Um, but now thinking about it, it does freak me out not knowing again like anything like that. But I also think um the Crimson,
Crimson Horror.
yeah, I love that episode though. That is probably again one of my favorite episodes. I love it. But seeing the Doctor not being able to move and how his mouth is still open and like just the clicking of his joints where he's trying so hard to move, and then obviously seeing this parasite attached to what's her face? Remember her name?
Bear with me.
I know it's Mr. Sweet.
Mrs. Ladyflower or something flower, isn't it?
Mrs. Gilliflower.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like
Thank you, Mason.
just seeing it and like I feel like you could see like a little hole that he's literally biting into
Yeah,
her
there is
flesh.
like
Like
a sort of circle in the saliva and
yeah, that's just
slime,
no.
a ring of teeth.
And especially what she does to her own daughter and seeing how all the scars on her face and the obviously I know they're contact lenses, but seeing her eyes all white, it's scary to look at. But it's again, it's one of those episodes I think is scarily good for me. I love that episode so much. And I really love um Madame Vestra, um Jenny and Strax and the Doctor as the four.
The paternoster getting.
Yeah, I love when they're all together. Like I really do. I think that's underrated. Um,
I think it's really ballsy of Miss Gilliflower though, when she's talking about how the experiments she does on Ada, and she goes, "Well, I had to find out how much of the toxin I had needed to immunize myself."
and then she walks in and like, really?
Yeah,
There's another one that I find quite scary, but I can't.
I I think I know which one it is, but I just want to say this: I love Cold War because of the claustrophobic atmosphere of being trapped on the submarine. I think that is brilliantly
I
done. and seeing an ice warrior out of its armor for the first time. I wish we had gotten like a good look at the design of it rather than him being
Yeah.
in the shadows all the time.
Yeah, that's also what freaks me out. I wasn't going to say that for the other episode, but when the ice warrior comes out of the suit, it's like really, really weird to look at, and it's really creepy because obviously he just kind of just takes someone and he's like, come up here now.
It really is shocking how like spindly they are, because like the only time you actually get a decent look at it is if you get the figure. That's the only time you actually get a good look at it, and it's like quite a bit bigger than a standard human-sized figure in that range. So it makes you wonder: is he like hunching in the suit the whole time?
Yeah. There was another episode for me, but again, Hyde is going to still be my top, but I'm going to mention it anyway. I can't remember.
We're rambling again. We could do the honorable mentions at the end.
I'm going to quickly say this and then I'll stop rambling, but I can't remember what it's called, but again, it's when Jenny dies but then gets brought back to life.
Oh, Time of the Doctor. No, Name of the Doctor.
I find that episode,
The Whisper Men.
yeah, just how they come out of nowhere, and especially when they're in that, when they've obviously gone into
The tomb.
the sleep thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then Jenny's just sitting there going, someone's come in, and I think I've just been murdered, sort of thing. That's really, again, would you say it's psychological, or?
I wouldn't say that's psychological, but it does raise the question of how much of your mind would be conscious if you were to pass away in your sleep.
Yeah,
Because she is technically dying in her sleep.
Yeah.
I find that really scary, but again, scarily good. I did quite like that episode, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'll stop rambling now.
Yeah.
Curious what Mason's answer is.
Yeah. You're interested?
Yeah, I'm curious what your answer is going to be.
It's not anything that you said.
Okay.
Well, it may be something you said, but not the one both of you have picked.
Okay.
So I would say my scary episode is the Crimson Horror.
Okay.
I quite like it as well. It's quite scary, but like the Doctor's all red and it's pretty scary. One of my favourite episodes with Jenny Strax and
Astra.
Bastra. I was about to say Bastra Narada, but
That would be an interesting episode.
because they just sound the same. But yeah, I think it's the best episode they're in. Out of all of them. But yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, I love the friendships.
You need to watch the next episode then. Howdy's first episode.
I will get to it.
And they're lost, unfortunately. Hope they return.
They need to. I love Jenny. I love a little fight scene in the Crimson Horror. Really, really good.
So I think we're at the point now where Jesper, is this you? You haven't watched from now on.
I'm tapping out for this series, and then I'll be back on series 9.
And then back out again.
Yeah, I'll be back out.
Okay. Well, I'll read them out, and you can just pick one that you think sounds scary.
Okay.
But I'll read them out. So we've got Deep Breath. Yeah, just checking the right series. Deep Breath, Into the Dalek, Robot of Sherwood, Listen, Time Heist, The Caretaker, Kill the Moon, Mummy on the Orient Express, Flatline, In the Forest of the Night. That's an episode I do not remember anything about. Dark Water, Death in Heaven, Last Christmas with Nick Frost.
Yeah, I've actually got one because I remember watching one of those episodes, and I'm not just picking it because I've seen it. It did actually scare me, and it is Listen. if I remember correctly. It's the boy on the bed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have beef with that episode because I love it so much for the first 30 minutes, and then the last 10 minutes makes me hate it more than anything. But honestly, for Series 8, I'm gonna need some time to think about it. So.
Okay.
I think listen, because if I remember correctly, I could be wrong because I've only seen it once. You don't see what it is.
No.
And again, it's like midnight, the unknown, not being able to know what it is. But I could be understanding the episode wrong because I need to watch Capaldi's Error. I will hold my hands up for that. I have seen a few, but I haven't seen it all. But yeah, I think the unknown has made that episode scary to me.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I'll go to you last, Scott, because you said there needs some thinking. So I'll go, and then you can go. So what should I pick? I'm gonna pick Mummy on the Orient Express. That's kind of a horror episode, isn't it? You've got a ghost in there along the train. Um, so yeah, I'll pick that one. It's not this episode. I didn't really like. I didn't really like many of the episodes in there. Well, when we talk about it next time, Capaldi first series wasn't my favourite. I liked his other ones more, but um, yeah, for scariness, um, Mummy on the Orient Express.
I agree with you that Capaldi's series definitely just got better as they went. His first season's not my favorite, but I do enjoy it. I'm struggling. I've narrowed it down because Mummy on the Orient Express was one of my options, but I won't pick that because you've chosen that. So I'm stuck between two now, and it's Last Christmas and Flatline. Last Christmas because I love that episode. The idea again, same thing as like that you don't know what's real with the dream crabs, like dream in a dream in a dream with the Inception kind of style story. Love that. Love that like because of the dream crabs, things could just happen that you'll accept and you won't understand and you just kind of get on with it. Like Santa being real. I love the open endingness of it as well at the end when it kind of confirms that Santa is real in Doctor Who, but he's also not. He's kind of in the dream, but he's also not. I love that open endingness. But I think my episode, I will go with Flatline because I love the idea of a two-dimensional species discovering us and being so confused that they begin dissecting and like examining humans, but the only way they can do that is by obviously flattening us and then watching them sort of adapt to our dimension and reality, whatever you want to call it, and like developing an actual 3D sort of form, but it's still so distorted because their perception of what is real is so fundamentally different than ours. I think it is so well crafted, and hearing the police officer scream as you watch her get dragged into the carpet, I think is a beautiful and terrifying scene. I think it is executed so well. So Flatline is my final answer.
From you and just saying about her screaming being dragged in a carpet is already like making me want to put my feet up on the chair.
Don't worry, there's no moving squiggles.
Yeah, I completely forgot I actually watched the Christmas one as well.
Yeah, I made you watch that last Christmas, didn't I?
Yeah. But again, I'm still gonna go with Listen, but I do agree with the dream crabs as well when they're on the sleigh and they're just slowly fading away. That's quite scary too.
I do just want to say my beef with Listen is the fact that it's hyped up so well as this creature. And I love the idea of a species that has developed and evolved to hide to the point that it physically cannot be seen or examined or anything. What would a creature like that want? What would it thrive off of? All of that I think is such an amazing question and such a great story. But the ending ruins it for me because when Clara walks in and says, well, what if the big bad Time Lord just doesn't want to admit that he's afraid of the dark? That can't be true because we saw that there was something on the bed in child Danny's room. And yes, it could have just been another kid, but you saw the blanket come off. It had like a Silurian style head. It was very obviously not human. There was definitely something there. And then for the end of the episode to just slap you and say, no, there was nothing there. It it frustrates me. It makes me angry.
Yeah, get what you mean. Get what you mean.
Sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
But we'll include the Christmas special at the end when we mention other ones that we've all said that we couldn't make our final answer. So that this means we're on series 9 now. So I'll read them all out. Okay. The Magician's Apprentice, The Witch Familiar, Under the Lake Before the Flood. That's 2, but you can say as 1. The Girl Who Died, The Woman Who Lived, The Zygon Invasion, The Zygon Inversion, Sleep No More, Face the Raven, Heaven Sent, Hell Bent, Husbands of River Song, The Return of Doctor Mysterio. So I'll go first, and I'm gonna say Sleep No More. I'm gonna say Sleep No More. It's an interesting episode because it puts you in the point of view of the person. Um, yeah, it's an underrated episode actually. When a couple months ago someone mentioned it to me, to go and watch it because it's one of those episodes I forgot. I watched it and it's like I was watching a new episode, but it is quite scary what's happening in it. So I'm gonna say Sleep No More. What about you guys?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah. What is it called?
Your favorite is Under the Lake Before the Flood.
Yeah. They are the most scariest, but in a good way. I feel like most of the episodes I say is scary in a good way.
The scariest done its job well.
Yeah, exactly. I think just being able to be safe in one room as well, because obviously I know that they've had to come out of that room and then all of a sudden they come at you from like every direction, and just seeing their eyes as black is just so scary to me. It just looks like you're looking at death, really. And again, the doctor went, so again it's like, oh, we're in a really bad situation now because the doctor has been taken over. And I think once the doctor's been taken over, it shows it's a good episode because you realize, oh, this is real and we've got to try and save the doctor to try and to save the others, sort of thing. But as well, I love the creativity of how these creatures take like get more on their side. Like the guy in the he was going to go out in the lake, wasn't he, or in the water, and
Yeah, he did. He went out
and then
into the power cell.
yeah, and then when he then drowned, didn't
Yeah,
he?
because they used the base defense against him. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, like again, it was like another episode I said that was really creative with how they kill off characters and add them. Can't remember what that was now. But yeah, that's my scariest episode.
Yeah, I think that's quite scary as well. I think the first part is a bit more scary than the second part
Oh,
because I think this monster at the end, I didn't really understand him. Um, every time I watch it, I think, why is he there? Sometimes, but it's good. It's good, and it's good they mention people like the Minister of War, who we still don't know who really is.
we're waiting on that yet.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. But yeah, I actually looking back when I first watched that or this series, when I first watched Capaldi, I didn't really like it. I didn't really like. I felt it hard to connect with him, but that's probably my favourite two-parter of this series, and probably my favourite episode actually. I know I said Sleep No More for my scary, but I don't particularly. It's not one I like. I just find it scary. Um, but yeah, I thought it was really good. Scott, are you saying anything different, or are you going with that?
I would have to agree with Mason. I really do. I actually like Sleep No More, and it
Okay.
was originally planned to have a sequel episode that would explain more about it. And I feel that it sorely needed it. And if it had it, then it might not have gotten as much grief as it was given. But I love the first person perspective, sort of pushing you in the position of like the actual characters if you're actually there with them. But also the fact that even subtly, right at the beginning of the episode, you never see the doctor's perspective. You only ever see the people that obviously have used the machines. And yes, that is obviously the plot of the episode, but I think it is shot so well. The dark atmosphere, the constant groaning and screaming down the echoey hallways from the Sandmen. I think the sound design is beautifully unsettling. Um, and the idea of it simply being a build-up of just dead skin cells that has evolved into a carnivorous life form, I think is truly so Doctor Who in the most splendid way possible,
Yeah,
turning the ordinary into the extraordinary.
it's good. It's good. I think all them those are the top, let's say, three episodes that are the most scariest in that
Mm.
series.
Right, we're on series
Mm.
10 now, aren't we?
Yeah, series 10. We're nearly there. Um, so we got this pilot, okay, the pilot, Smile, Thin Ice, Knock Knock, Oxygen, Extremis, the pyramids of the pyramid at the end of the world, the lie of the land, the Empress of Mars, the Eaters of Light. Another very forgettable episode.
Yeah,
Um, so it's the same concept for me. When I watch that, it's like I watched a new episode. The World Enough in Time, The Doctor Falls, What Twice Upon a Time. So if you say from extremist to the lie of the land, I'd say that's a three-parter. In the middle there. If you say one of them, that would equal probably all three. Um, so yeah. Um, what do we think about this one?
you haven't watched series 10 of you.
I can even.
Okay.
I would have to say that, again, I've got two, but I would go with Oxygen, is definitely my definitive answer. But I also really like Knock Knock and the specific scene of the where he's becoming part of the wall. That scene is so unsettling at the fact that he's been absorbed so much at the point that he doesn't have a physical body anymore. He just has the tips of his fingers, his eyes, and his nose, and you can hear him breathing. So he's still partially there. But the fact that he has no way to communicate other than huffing and blinking, I think is a truly horrifying existence. But
Yeah.
I would have to go with Oxygen as my final answer because the zombie spacesuits, whatever you want to call them, again, I think it's beautifully designed. The story and plot is so very Moffat with it being about capitalism, but I think it works so well for this episode and the fact that instantly the Doctor starts ruling out all of the possibilities of why this could be happening. Like when he starts talking about it could be they're being hacked and that they're trying to be robbed. And they start explaining we mine like copper ore, I think it is, and you need to steal a mountain of it in order for it to be worth anything. And at the end, it just turns out that the humans are just inefficient, so they're being replaced.
Yeah. So oxygen is your final answer.
Oxygen is my final answer.
I feel like we're on a game show. Um, okay, oxygen. Um, I would say I would go with knock knock for me. Although oxygen, I think scary. I'll just say different. I'll say different just so we got both. Um, knock knock. But it is quite scary though. Knock knock. And
That's
if
an
it,
absolute.
and then
Mm.
if there's any others in there, we'll could put them at the end.
Although it is about bugs. Rewarding you. Good episode. Although I do prefer. I don't know if you've seen Mason. Have you seen the alternate ending for Knock Knock?
No.
There's an alternate ending where instead of the house being destroyed, it reverts back to its original form, and it's all like really nice, and the kids all move in, and the doctor actually becomes the landlord. He takes like how he does in Thin Ice, where
Yeah.
he puts the kids' names on like as long lost ancestors. He does a similar thing where he puts his name down as he's now the landlord, and Bill makes a joke saying like Time Lord and Landlord. Look at you. It's such a better ending in my opinion.
Okay. Okay.
I'll try and find it. I'll send it to you later if I can.
Yeah.
And he takes care of the kids in the Christmas special. Does he call himself?
The Caretaker.
Yeah, I'm a caretaker.
I hate that episode so
Me too, but I do love.
It's so annoying.
I do love how he's like, I'm your caretaker.
Matt Smith is phenomenal in all episodes, and he is the only bearable part about that episode and the ending. But the rest of the cast for The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe, I cannot stand them.
Mm.
Hmm. Okay. Just, but is there any of them that you would just want to put down?
Well, after Scott telling me that one of them had bugs in, I'll go with that one.
Knock knock.
Yeah,
Not
don't do bugs. Not a very bug person, funny enough. I love butterflies and like moths and things, but anything else you can go
Yeah,
away.
makes sense.
I've always wondered though. I know they're called like is it dryads or triads? Is it a D or a T? I never can understand his accent. Like if it's a D or a T.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's triads or dryads.
I think it's a T.
It does sound like triads, like something
I
you've
think it's
explained to me
triads.
before.
I'm pretty sure it is triads.
I think it's a T.
I'll look it up.
Oh, we're already in series
Jodie's
11.
era. Yeah, Jodie's era.
Um, okay, so we've got the woman who fell to Earth, the Ghost Monument, Rosa Alknids in the UK, the Trangia Conundrum, Demons of the Punjab, Kablam, Witchfinder, It Takes You Away, the Battle of the Battle of Raskor of Kolos, and Resolution.
What a title. What a title, Chibnall.
I mean, that title doesn't make any sense to the episode, but yeah. So, Scott, did we go anything other than the Arakids of the UK?
Nope, it's going to be Arachnids in the UK.
Okay.
And I would honestly say it's Arachnids in the UK by default, not because it's particularly scary, but just because none of the other episodes are either. And just spiders. That's how I could sum it up. Spiders.
There
Big
you go.
spiders.
I'll vote for that one
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
No, I do not like the sound of that.
At the end of the episode, there's a spider the size of a house.
Yeah, no, I'm not watching that.
And in the toilet. In the toilet as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't even say that to me because I get scared sometimes.
In the bath.
Yeah, I'm not ever watching that episode.
It's not that bad.
I do not care.
But it's a pointless episode though, isn't it?
It really is. Basically,
Exactly, so it wouldn't matter if I don't watch it.
you could skip series 11 and it would change nothing.
It's funny, isn't it?
It's true though. Like
Yeah.
I've yet to find an aspect of Series 11 that
Oh, there is one.
does.
That
Well, yeah, the singular mention of the timeless child in episode 2.
no, not that. It's the guy in the spider episode comes up later, don't he?
Oh, well, yeah, yeah,
Jesus Christ, that scared me.
yeah. There is that, but other than that, is
He's he's not a important person.
no.
Um, so we've all gone for the same on that one. So series 12, Spyfall Part 1, Spyfall Part 2, Orphan 55, Nikola Tesla, Night of Terror, Fugitive of the Dune, Praxius, Can You Hear Me? The Hunting of Veda, The Haunting of Veda Diodati, Ascension of the Cybermen, The Timeless Child, no, The Timeless Children, um, Revolution of the Daleks. So, um, the only one I can think of, I don't know. Um, what do you think, Scott?
I would go with the haunting of Villa Diodati. I
Okay.
just think that it is actually a good episode, and it's going to sound like I'm thrashing Jodie's era. I'm not trying to, but I personally didn't get along with any of her episodes except for three or four maybe. And this is one of those few that I actually did enjoy. I thought it was a brilliant episode. I thought the new perspective on the Cybermen was refreshing, and the design of Ashad was absolutely fantastic for his character. It told you everything you needed to know about him from just looking at him, and the episode, like, slowly working up to the reveal. I think it does it brilliantly. I love the sort of ghost on the lake idea, and it's
Yeah.
just him slowly trying to break through the dark atmosphere, the storms, um, the ghostly apparitions. I wasn't really a fan of because it doesn't feel very connected to the ending of it being a Cyberman story. It very much kind of felt like a red herring that
Yeah.
didn't really work at all. But that would be my episode. And
Okay.
I do think, all in all, I do think it's a good episode.
Yeah, it is a good episode. I agree. So the one I'm going to go with is Praxius. Only for the fact it's not a good episode, but only for the fact of the effect of what's happened to the people. Like you had someone get disintegrated. So I'm going to go for that one.
There is an episode that I've seen clips of, but I don't know if that was the last series or if it's this series. But it's this woman, and no, she's being possessed by an angel, or
That's Flux. Sorry.
um, I think that's quite scary because she just like looks in the mirror and
That's the next season.
yeah, that's my one for the next one then because I don't
Okay.
know.
It's Village of the Angels.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
not
my answer.
bad
Yeah.
episode.
Is there one that you want to say in this one? Do you want to say the same one that Scott said?
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of zoned out a little bit, not in a mean way. I was more
Sick of hearing me ramble.
no, I was seeing what Sam was doing. I was seeing what I feel really bad now, but I was just seeing what Sam was doing because he looked like he almost hurt himself.
It's just getting some food.
Okay.
Um,
Right. Then we're going on to Flux.
Mm. 2 seasons left.
So we've got the Halloween Apocalypse. The War of Centaurans, Once Upon a Time, Footage of the Angels, Survivors of the Flux, The Vanquishers, Eve of the Angel. No, that what am I saying? Eve of the Daleks. Um, Legends of the Sea Devils, The Power of the Doctor. Um, so Jesper, you said the Village of the Angels.
yeah, I find the angel like taking over this woman from what I've seen. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know if she's being taken over by an angel.
She's sort of being used as cover. The angel is it's hard to explain. The angel hides within her to use her as bait to draw the Doctor out so that it can offer the Doctor to the division because this angel is a rogue angel because the angels now work for the division. This is what I mean by they gave way too much lore to the angels to the point that any mystery about them is just
Yeah. But yeah, that like seeing the reflection, I think she's like washing her face and then
the angel wings.
yeah.
As much as I love that scene, it's so obvious that they're like rubber wings. You can see them flapping around.
Yeah, I think that's the scariest one. I'm just going based off clips I've like seen on TikTok and things. I haven't actually watched it, so I'm just giving a little
Yeah.
opinion.
I
Yeah.
would agree with you. Village of the Angels would be the scariest of Flux. Again, though, purely for default. The Halloween Apocalypse is good though. Like the start of Swarm and Azure, I really liked them as villains, and I wish that we got more of them. I truly wish that rather than trying to do like each episode has a different sort of villain. Like, for example, obviously the first episode is sort of set up, and then two is the Sontarans are the main threat.
Yeah.
Love War of the Sontarans, wouldn't change that for the world. That is a really good episode. Their design, the one credit I will give Chibnall above everything, his redesigns are phenomenal.
Sometimes look really good.
They look so good.
They don't look as potato headed anymore.
No.
They look like big trolls.
And again, probably an unpopular opinion, I liked his defense drone design for the Daleks as a one-off, not as a permanent design, but as a sort of this is what they look like for this episode, but
Yeah.
here's the reason why. I liked that.
So,
yeah,
is it Village of the Angels that you're saying?
yeah, I am rambling, but yes, I would go with Village of the Angels as my episode.
Okay. Village of the Angels. So I'm gonna say I will say the same.
There we go.
Hey, ending it on a 3. Oh, sorry, Sam. Are we doing season 1?
I haven't watched all of it. But if we're gonna
Again, though, I wouldn't really say it's a scary episode.
But first, let's do the 60th special. See if there's one
Oh,
out of that.
let's not rambling because this was supposed to be a mini episode.
Yeah, this was really
Yeah,
supposed to be a
it was supposed to be a mini episode, but I told you this wouldn't happen.
No.
You should have like pre-warned the audience and be like, Scott and Jesper are really bad at rambling, so this isn't going to be a mini episode anymore.
No. A text at the beginning that says the following has been severely cut down.
So if we only manage this long with our scare episode, imagine what it's going to be like when we talk about favourite episodes and least favourite episodes next time.
I'm gonna have so much to say. I'm gonna have to write notes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna find a notebook and like list it. I'll probably do that after this, to be honest, because I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. So we've got the Giggle, Wild Blue Yonder, or the Star Beast. Is there a scary episode out of them three?
I would say the scariest would have to be
Wild Blue Yonder.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Especially with the way, I mean, Catherine Tate and David Tennant did a phenomenal job of being like this entity thing. Like my arms are too long, and just the way they're saying it is very just
the deadpan attitude.
Yeah. So like, okay. And the way they get chased down the corridor and then like seeing them stretch. But I will admit though, even though I wouldn't say it's very scary, but the thing that put me off of it being scary is David Tennant when he bends over backwards and his head just...
Auntie Iris, Mummy and Daddy. Yeah.
It's just so funny. But like the scariest thing is when 10, not 10, I'm so sorry.
14.
14, was saying, Donna, is that you? And she's like, yeah, it's me. And he's being
The
really like,
belief.
yeah, emotional about it. And then she just melts and was like, and you just see the sadness that fills his eyes. And
I love that scene for two reasons though. A, it shows his emotional side, but B, it shows Donna's brains because while she's rambling and then all of a sudden she just goes, "Where's your tie?" And he goes, "I took it off." And she goes, "Yeah, where's it gone?"
Yeah.
yes, Donna is so clever, and I feel so bad for her because she doesn't believe it. Like she doesn't think she's important enough and all this sort of thing. But she's probably one of the most important companions there is. Like she's very not underrated because I know so many people love her, but
Not even close to being underrated.
she's underrated to herself. She doesn't give herself enough credit.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say Wild Blue Yonder is definitely the most scariest. Just even the long corridor. It's just
100% agree though, because again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'll just be repeating myself and repeating what you said. The body horror, the disfigurements, it's brilliant. The mind games, the psychological
yeah,
aspect of it is brilliant. Watching 14 slowly figure it out, but that being the one thing that he needs to not do, I think, is
yeah,
a
Yeah.
phenomenal thing. And I love the idea of the reason they look like the Doctor and Donna is because they are literally the embodiment of nothing. They do not have a form or a voice or a real sort of mind.
it's
They've got
like
a consciousness and a sort of drive, but other than that, there isn't anything else. So the idea of them taking on the form of what's
Yeah.
in front of them, I think, is just truly brilliant. And I love that for two actors to be the only thing in the episode,
mm,
but to make it feel like so much is going on.
mm.
I think I think it's done so well.
It is.
especially the teeth as well.
Do
Like
you know that Catherine picked Nick to pay her from set?
no,
Yeah, she took it home with her.
I love that. Um,
I think she said she was going to. Whether she actually did it, I don't know. I'm pretty sure she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take these home because they're small, they fit in your pocket."
no, it's very, very psychologically scary, especially with like salt, like that part. Like you have
Yeah,
to count every grain.
I have my ups and downs with the salt. I love the idea that he used the salt to stop them and hold them back so that he could do a bit of an interrogation. But the fact that playing a superstition at the edge of the universe, the walls being so thin, it changes the reality. Okay, it lets the toy maker in, fair enough, but it's altered the Doctor Who universe so much that obviously we now get the mystical elements of things. And I personally, I'm not a fan of the new season's crutch on that, in the fact that if there's ever anything they can't explain away, they just sort of turn around and go salt, and that's
Yeah.
about it.
Mm.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, so Wild Blue Yonder is the overall winner there. Because the others aren't that really scary.
Yeah.
Um, um, so and then lastly, is there a scary episode in the series that's just gone? Um, I wouldn't I wouldn't say 73 yards is scary. It may have a supernatural vibe to it, but it's not that scary. If I did say one, it would probably be the Empire of Death slash Legend of Ruby Sunday, because if there was one, because that finale is a bit. It's not really scary, but it's as scary as you're gonna get throughout the series.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the second part is more scary than the first part. Like
Yeah,
seeing Susan, is it Triad? Susan Triad? Mm.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, like seeing her then go into this like skeleton sort of faced figure. It's quite off-putting as well, especially the red eyes. Like it just feels like they're glaring into your soul, sort of thing. And then obviously being in the memory TARDIS and seeing the Earth just being covered and like it all going into dust. And obviously once one of Sutek's followers like touch someone, they then turn instantly into dust. And I find that quite scary. But again, I don't really think it's very scary. It's just
No, it's
one
just
of
that.
the, yeah.
It's just there. Just there. Scott, are you saying anything else or are you just agreeing?
I would just have to agree. I don't think there's a scary episode. If you'd asked me before the series aired, I was really excited for Space Babies because of the Bogeyman. I loved its design. I loved the sort of, it looked like it was going to be a scary episode with the hallways, and like I say, its design looked fantastic. And then the final episode came out and I was utterly disappointed, honestly. And yeah, there isn't really an episode that's scary. There was some footage, or not some footage, there was some photos leaked of a creature from season two. I think it looks almost like a gargoyle kind of thing. And again, I'm very excited because I love the way that it looks. It looks like it'll be a scary monster. And I really am hoping that I'm not going to end up with the same issue where it's going to end up being like, oh, this is someone's pet.
Mm.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I know, I've seen it as well. I've seen it as well. Right, we're gonna quickly whiz through honourable mentions of the ones we haven't said. Um, so we'll, let's go to series one. So we all, Jesper said Rose. I said Unquiet Dead, and Scott said Scott said Father's Day, didn't you, Scott?
No.
No, I'm joking. I'm going to say checking you're awake. Um,
Yeah, I'm still here.
um,
Two
no,
hours later.
no. You said The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances, didn't you?
I did.
So I'll read through the others, and when I say one, just to make time go faster, just say that one when I've said it, and then I write down. Um, so The End of the World, The Aliens of London, World War Three, Dalek.
I would give an honorable mention to Dalek because the base and the seed being trapped with the Dalek. I think that episode shows the true might of a Dalek so well to the point that in any future episode, when there's any more of them, like rather than just the one, there's like four or an army, it really does make you think, why are the Daleks struggling? Because you've seen how strong one is.
True, definitely. Um, The Long Game, Father's Day, The Empty. I've already said them too.
Yeah,
Boomtown, Bad Wolf, Part of the Ways, The Christmas Invasion. Okay, so the only one we got is Dalek for that one.
fair enough. Sorry.
Next one. So series two. Um, Scott said the Girl on the Fireplace. Um, Jesper said Tooth and Claw, and I said Digits Lantern. So, yet again, just say one's which when I say it. New Earth.
Yeah, like I say, I'll give that an honorable mention purely for
Mm.
the contagion.
Okay. I think you said that was your top two last time, I think.
Yeah.
Um, School Reunion.
I would say yes, give it a mention because what was it called?
Crittertains.
I thought it was that, but then I was backing out. The design of it is very scary looking.
See, that's the thing that annoys me though, is with a creature like the Crittertains, they're something that could come back and serve whatever plot story you want because they could look so drastically different from when
Yeah.
we first saw them, and that's canonical to them. It's part of the genetic code that they cherry pick their favorite bits from each species. So I would love to see them come back and like, I don't know, have some new abilities or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. I really like them, and they are quite scary.
So I'd like to give that a mention.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the top scary one.
Also, though, the guy that plays um the main Croatian, I can never remember the actor's name, and I always feel bad.
Anthony, isn't it?
Yeah,
Someone?
Anthony.
Hopkins? No,
No.
that's someone else.
You watch Merlin, Scott?
I used to, but I never actually got properly into it, so I never finished it. I only ever watched an episode here and there. But he is such a good actor, and
Yeah.
plays the role of Head Crinotane to a T. It's so well done because
It's
I love
brilliant.
villains that aren't straight. I want to rule. I want to kill everything. I like villains that have complexity and an actual plan, or they see what they're doing as a benefit. Like even Sutek, he sees his gift of death as an actual gift. That's not like a phrasing. He sees it as I'm giving you peace. Now you don't ever have to worry about things ever again.
Yep. I know what you mean. The same kind of vibes.
Mm.
He's a really good actor. So let's keep going. The Rise of the Cybermen.
I would give it an honorable mention purely for the Cybermen body horror.
Is that with the Age of Steel?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they are partly scary, aren't they? Rise of the Cybermen. Age of Steel. Okay. The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit.
Yes, I would because I re A, I think it's a brilliant two-parter. I really do love that episode. But the idea of the physical devil, either you could call it manifesting, but he's the truth behind the myth. So I do love that episode. I love his voice. I think the actor that does the voice work for him when he possessed all the Ood, I think it's brilliant. I love that he can possess a literal army, so there is nothing you can do to stop him. And I love his promises at the end that he is everlasting. You can destroy the body, but you'll never destroy him. He will be back. He will survive in some shape or form. I
Yeah,
love villains that you literally cannot defeat. You can only prolong.
definitely. I agree. That's a pretty scary episode, especially with the Ood.
Mm.
Um, Ood. Okay.
Mm.
So Love and Monsters.
Again, I would give it an honorable mention purely. I don't think it's a good episode by any means, but I would give it an honorable mention purely for the horror aspect of unfortunately coming in contact with an Absorbaloff.
Yep. Okay. Army of
Mm.
Ghosts and Doomsday.
Mm.
Okay.
No, no,
Okay. And then we got the Runaway Bride.
no.
Mm.
No.
I
Okay.
would say yes, purely because I don't like the alien creature.
You just don't like spiders, though.
Yeah, that's the only reason. I don't
Okay.
like.
I wouldn't count that then.
Shall we count it? Do you want to count it?
Babe, final choice is yours. Do you want to count it or not?
No, because it's more of a I don't like spiders, so
Okay. Okay. Series 3. Um, I've forgotten what we've all said. I know I said 42. Um,
I said Daleks in Manhattan.
you said Daleks in Manhattan,
I said
and
Lazarus Experiment.
yes.
oh yeah, you said the Lazarus Experiment. Okay, so Smith and Jones.
No, that's not really scary.
No. The Shakespeare Code.
Again, I would give it a mention like I did it earlier, purely because of the witches and like the witchy sort of stuff they do, especially the voodoo doll. And then also controlling Shakespeare like a puppet.
Yeah,
So
I
I'd
get
say
that.
yeah, for that one.
Gridlock.
Mm.
Daleks in
I'm not gonna
Manhattan.
say yes again if I just don't like crabs.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Scott said that one. So we're gonna go to Human Nature and the Family of Blood.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely giving an honorable mention. Such a good episode, and again, I can't remember the actor's name, but the son of mine, he's
I, yeah.
so menacing, and he's such a good actor.
Mm.
Or Baines.
Yes.
He does so good. Just the way he talks as well.
Oh, it's so good. And the slight smile and
Yeah,
the
like the little
eyebrows.
twitch.
Oh, he's perfect in that role. There is not a better casting.
It's
Yeah.
brilliant. He's brilliant.
It's so good.
He's really good. Um,
Well, it's like again, you don't know what's possessing them, do you?
No, it
You
is just an
can't see
unknown
what it
entity.
is. So again, it's the unknown. There's a lot of unknown entities, which is good because you wanna
Well, in a universe filled with things you can see and you can fight, yeah,
yeah,
you're gonna want the things that you can't.
more like psychological things.
yeah. Right. Blink.
I'm gonna say no, purely because it's such a good episode. Yes, there's some good jump scares, but I wouldn't say it's a scary episode.
I'll agree with you on that.
All right. Utopia.
Mm.
The Sound of Drums.
No.
I would say an honorable mention, but at the low end of it, purely again for the villain, the Toclophane, like
Mm.
the fact that they are our future and they are a mutilated human race who've been devolved into human minds in a way, and then obviously experiments run by the master to then cause a paradox to obliterate the human race because they think it's fun. That I think is scary. I do think the idea of that is scary, but the episode itself, no.
I think the only part of like the master um is like part the sound of drums. I don't know if it is this part or not, but is when he makes the doctor really, really old
Oh yeah.
and he's just like a little alien thing. That creeps me out.
Because he Dobbyified the doctor.
He looks really weird.
Dobby doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know
It
what you mean.
just puts me off. He looks like Voldemort when he's like been reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've included them three as one because they're all together.
Mm.
Um, I'd say before we move on to the next ones, I'd say just to so we don't be here probably another hour. I'll when you say it, just say it and don't give it a reason why because I think we'll be here longer. Um,
He's telling us off now.
Yeah.
because we'll be here another hour, won't we? And
Oh, we would.
we'll be here another hour.
Already.
So,
Yeah.
save your thoughts for next time because we'll be talking about them more in
Yeah,
depth.
I
Um,
completely forgot that was happening
We
as
can
well.
rewatch the
Yeah.
podcast to write our
Yeah.
notes down.
Yeah, you can rewatch it, but just to save time, we'll just
Yeah,
say
that's
yes.
a good idea because
And if I say one and you don't think it is, just don't say anything.
I
All right?
Sounds good.
love that.
Because if sometimes we say no, we give an explanation why we said no. So, so yeah,
Yes or no. It's more of a yes or no
yeah.
game. You know?
Yes or no. So in series 4, I think Scott, you said the Doctor's daughter, didn't you? And Jesper said the unicorn and the wasp because she loves insects. Is that right?
100%. Bang on.
No. I think we all said midnight, didn't we, for this one?
Yeah.
So partners in crime,
No.
the fires of Pompeii.
Yes.
I would say no.
You think fires of Pompeii scary?
So this is what I mean. It's like I would say Partners in Crime, yes, and Fires of Pompeii, no.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
Well, so let's just put them both down because I actually think partners in crime is quite scary with the fact.
The adipose is so cute.
Yeah, they're cute, but watching them like a person dissolve and watching them like slowly sort of out of a human is freaky.
I don't like the crackly faces of the Pompeii people.
Right. Next one. Planet of the Ood.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
this is really hard to say yes and no.
I know.
You have the urge to say something else? Right. Sontaran Stratagem, The Poison Sky.
No.
No.
The Doctor's Daughter.
No.
The Unicorn and the Wasp.
No.
Silence in the Library at the Forest of the Dead.
Yes.
Okay. In the library. I'm surprised how many of these are written down.
My back is really itchy when I touch it.
Turn Left.
No.
No.
The Stolen Earth.
No.
Journey's End.
No.
The Next Doctor.
No.
Planet of the Dead.
No.
No.
End of Time Part 1.
No.
End of Time Part 2.
No.
Right, we move on to the next series.
The thing
So-
that you're getting.
So, The 11th Hour.
No.
I would say yes.
Okay.
I can't give my reason.
I was going to say, you'll have to explain to me after.
11th Hour is going down.
Really hard not to explain to you.
The Beast Below.
No.
Victory of the Daleks.
No.
Time of Angel. I think I said that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was your choice.
yeah, I think one of us did say it, but I can't
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. The Vampires of Venice.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of yours as well, I think.
Yeah, I think I said I put that down because it's Halloween. Of Vanius. Scott, you said Amy's Choice,
I did.
which I have actually been to the location of Amy's Choice.
Oh, cool.
It's what it looks like in the episode Abandoned.
Oh yeah, because you did like when he's trying not to fall asleep and he's like walking like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I won't argue with that one.
The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood. I was about to put the Hungry Earth, Cold Blood. I went to a church that was filmed in middle of nowhere.
Lovely. Did it have blue grass?
No, I think it's like they haven't cut it since they filmed there. That they're above the graves. They're above the graves. Okay, so we had that one. So the Lodger. No?
No.
I'm going to say no,
Yeah, I'm gonna say no too.
but I can see an argument for yes.
Okay. The Pandorica Opens and the Big Bang.
No.
A Christmas Carol.
No.
Okay, now we're on to 6. I think we all said the Rebels Flesh on this one.
Yeah.
So The Impossible Astronaut.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Is that including the Day of the Moon?
Yes.
Okay.
You're really struggling to sit still, aren't you?
I can't help it, okay?
I'm joking. It's not that. That's so weird of you.
It's not even like or anything. It's just sitting still is not as interesting. Can you not? Okay. Now what are we gonna do? Now.
That was the chair.
Of course it was.
It was really scary.
Okay. The Curse of the Black Spot.
Yes.
No.
Are we saying a yes or a no?
We'll say yes.
No, I have my reasons. Just because I might be more of a wuss
You
than
know,
you.
this is more funny that I've allowed you not to explain because
Yeah.
It's
it's
really hard.
it's
It's
causing it seems it's causing tension between your answers.
yeah.
So we'll put Curse of the Black Spot down. The Curse of the Blue Spot. Okay.
No.
Sorry.
The Doctor's Wife.
No.
No. No.
A good man goes to war.
No. Good episode, but no.
Let's kill Hitler.
No,
No.
definitely not.
Night Terrors.
No.
We saying yes or no?
We'll say no.
The Girl Who Waited.
No.
No.
The God Complex.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The God Complex. Right. Closing time.
No.
Yeah, no.
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 The Wedding of River Song.
No.
No.
The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe.
Certainly not.
Scott's favourite episode.
No.
So series 7, you said that one. So we go to Dinosaurs on a Spaceship.
No.
A Town Called Mercy.
No.
Power of Three.
No.
We'll still say no, but
The Angels Take Manhattan.
Yes.
I would say no.
We going for yes?
We'll go with yes.
Okay. The Angels Take Manhattan. Right. The Snowman. The Snowmen.
No.
No.
The Bells of St. John.
No.
I would say yes because no, I can't say because.
No.
But we're going to. I would say yes and no, so let's go with no. But I do have a tiny reason. No. Oops.
Okay. The Rings of Akhaten.
Definitely not. That's
No.
just a brilliant episode.
Okay. Cold War.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I kind of went my own level for a second. But yes.
Forgot what we said. What did we all say for this one?
I said hide.
I think I went with Asylum.
Oh yeah, I remember now. I remember now. Right, I need to change pages because I'm out of paper. Honorable mentions. Right, Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS.
I would say yes.
Yes. Two.
Journey to the Centre of TARDIS. I put TARDIS. TARDIS. The Nightmare Silver.
No.
No.
Name of the Doctor.
No.
That's the Whisperman.
Oh yes.
We'll put that one down.
I'm not good with titles. So
Of the Doctor. Um, Night of the Doctor, the mini one with the Eighth Doctor.
No,
no,
although it's brilliant, no, it's not scary.
Day of the Doctor.
no.
An argument could be made for yes, but I'll still say no.
Time of the Doctor.
No,
Deep Breath.
yes.
This
You
Capaldi's
can't
one.
answer anymore. Yeah, this is Capaldi's season 1, so series 8.
Yeah, I can't really say anything anymore.
Um, so Deep Breath. So Into the Dalek.
I would say yes. Like there is an argument that could be made for yes.
Into the Dalek. Robot of Sherwood.
No.
Time Heist.
Yes.
The Caretaker.
No.
Kill the Moon.
No. Again, other than sort of giant, really spiders, no.
In the Forest of the Night.
Certainly not.
Dark Water. Death Heaven. Death in Heaven.
Again, I'll say no, but I could see an argument for yes.
Last Christmas.
Yes, definitely.
Last Christmas you
Oh,
gave.
I say yes to that one too because it's the dream card.
Okay. So series 9. The Magician Apprentice.
No.
The Witch is Familiar.
No.
The Girl Who Died.
Certainly not.
The Woman Who Lived.
Nope.
The Zygon Invasion.
I would say yes, because the whole body doubles thing.
Yeah, I'll go yes too because that's a nice one for like Zygon.
In the version. Right, Face the Raven.
No, I wouldn't say it's scary.
Heaven Sent.
I'm going to say yes, because again, the unknown of what the veil is, and it's just such a good episode. As much as this one absolutely hates it,
Is that with Hell Bent then, or is it just? Are you just saying Heaven Sent?
I'm just saying Heaven Sent because I wouldn't count Hellbent as a scary one. Although it does continue on from it, I wouldn't technically call it a two-parter.
All right. Husbands of Riversong.
No.
The Return of Doctor Mysterio.
Oddly, yes, because of the villains.
Okay.
There are species that are like,
Explain to me later.
okay,
You don't want to rap.
their brains.
The Pilot.
I'm going to say yes, because there is a few horror aspects of the episode that are really good. I do think Series 10 has quite a few more horror aspects to it. Same
Smile.
with Smile. Yeah, I would say yes to Smile.
Thin Ice.
No. Sorry. Sorry. No.
Extremist.
Yeah. Again, there's some horror aspects to it.
Is that including the other two after it?
See, that's where it gets difficult because I feel like Extremist sets it up really well and does a lot of horror very well, but the other two episodes that follow it just kind of derail it and they don't do as well. So I would say no, and I would just cut Extremis out of it and say yes to Extremis, no to the other two.
Okay. Empress of Mars.
No,
The Eaters of Light,
no,
All or Nothing Time,
yes,
and that's including the Doctor Falls as well.
yes.
Doctor Falls. Twice Upon a Time,
No,
The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
we can just skip series 11.
Is there none other than this Spider one?
No, none that I can think of.
Um,
For
Spice
series,
Part. Is there any other in series 12? Do you think?
um, in series 12, you said Praxis, didn't you?
Yeah. Would you say Orphan 55?
Not really. I wouldn't say there's any. Honestly, I
Nicola's.
think
What about Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror?
good episode. Wouldn't say it's particularly scary.
Okay. So none. No. Then we go to series 13. I don't know. I don't think there is. We're back for the third time. Um, yeah, I was just saying there's none other really than the Village of the Angels. On the last one. Maybe the
Yeah,
Halloween Apocalypse.
yeah, that's the only one I would probably add in there. But other than that, the rest of them are all eh.
And then yeah, the Giggle isn't and the Star Beast isn't. And then the most recently,
Not really any other one.
No,
not really any of them. So that's done.
we made it. Well done, guys.
Yeah, we done it. Um,
And,
I am really waiting for Doctor Who to lean back into its horror aspects, though.
yeah.
I
yeah,
can't wait for that.
definitely. Um, yeah, I agree. So before we go, guys, I'm gonna ask you, if you have a favorite film of horror that you like? Or your favorite horror franchise, as it's Halloween. It doesn't need to be Doctor Who related. It could just be Halloween related. So yeah, just pick one each
First
altogether.
one that comes to mind for me would have to be the Alien franchise.
Okay,
Do
Alien.
love a Xenomorph.
Mine would have to be Scream, but I love slashers. They're my favorite franchise.
Okay, awesome. Um, for me, I probably agree with both of you. Just so I don't have to pick. um, but thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Um, we'll yeah. Next time we'll talk about the series in more depth, even though we felt like we already have.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll talk about it individual episodes more, and we'll rank them.
Okay.
But to anyone seeing this today, hope you have had a good Halloween, and see you in the next episode, and whatever that's going to be about. Um, and Scott and Jesper will be back soon. Um, so thanks, guys.
See you later, everybody.
Thank
Happy
you.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everyone.